And we are live. It's day 2. I feel so much excitement and joy because I literally got energized with the Fuck Your Fears course that's actually happening right now. I usually don't schedule things back to back, but I feel like that just worked out right now. I feel really good. So welcome to day 2. I'm inviting some peeps up in the space. Day 2, Fuck Your Love Fears, rocking and rolling. Is that Claudine? Who's here? Say hello, hello, so I know it's you. Good, Ronnie, Claudine, glad you goddesses are here. I open up this sacred space for us to break through, fuck through, play with, discover, surrender. Hello, Anna Brooks. Some fears around love and how that blocks us from doing amazing things in this world. Yay, Joanna, Sister Goddess. Welcome, welcome. Randy, Goddess, Rockaway. Welcome. So I open up this sacred space. I just finished our 6th week of the Fuck Your Fears course that's happening right now, the VIP course. It's so fucking beautiful. I'm not going to share super details, but it's just like everyone is growing and sharing and bonding and rocking shit out. And they're awakening, just like we are. So I'm going to pull a card for us from the Power of Surrender cards. And what I know to be true about love is it takes a lot of work. It takes work. I won't say a lot. It takes work. And it takes energy. And you get to decide where you want to spend your fucks. So are your fucks spent judging yourself and a potential partner or your partner? Are your fucks spent on money, stress, worry? And I'd love to know, as a collective, what card shall I pull? And everybody, why don't you write in where you're watching from, what city or country. And I'm going to pull a card from the Power of Surrender, what we as a collective need to know or desire to know for tonight. Oh shit, you guys. Goddesses, enchantresses. Hey, Karen. Surrender your fear of intimacy. Big one. You are ready to let love in, compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. Okay, this is huge. Manhattan, Central Jersey. Okay, cool, Joanna. Okay, so I want to share a little bit about vulnerability. And I didn't even know what vulnerability was actually growing up. Another Maywood, New Jersey. Yeah, I mean, wow. Vulnerability to me was like, if you cry or you ask for help, you're a pussy. You're fucked up. That's how I grew up. And it was in a place in Brooklyn called Canarsie. And everybody there was like, don't be a fag. Don't be a pussy. Like there was all this talk about being tough, right? Anybody resonate with that? Anybody grew up around, where you had to be tough or like get your shit together. Don't like that kind of talk. Now, it's that, I know this microphone can be kind of noisy. It's that kind of stuff that sent us in the direction of masculine energy, tough, strong, don't ask nobody for anything, stand up for your man. Well, I pulled up a couple of things, and I want to read them to you. So brace yourselves. It is the 1957 Good Housekeeping 1955's Good Housekeeping. Maybe I could just copy and print them here. I might do that. Okay, I'm going to read them to you. I'm going to vomit as I read them to you. Be prepared. I'll just read them. Number 1, have dinner ready. Plan ahead, even the night before, to have a delicious meal ready on time for his return. This is a way of letting him know that you have been thinking about him and are concerned about his needs. Put up a vomit emoji if you, Diana, so glad you're here. So I'm reading, if you're just joining, I am reading, Claudine, yeah. I am reading 1955 Good Housewife's Guide to explain how wives should treat their husbands. Okay, number 2. Most men are hungry when they come home, and the prospect of a good meal, especially his favorite dish, is part of the warm welcome needed. Okay, number 3, prepare yourself. Take 15 minutes to rest so you'll be refreshed when he arrives. Touch up your makeup, put a ribbon in your hair, and be fresh looking. He has just been with a lot of work-weary people. Okay, keep putting up your vomit emojis. Number 4, be a little gay and a little more interesting for him. His boring day may need a lift, and one of your duties is to provide it. Number 5, clear away the clutter. Make one last trip through the main part of the house just before your husband arrives. I'm just going to pick out the favorite ones. Oh my God, you'll read them all. Number 10, you have a dozen important things to tell him, but the moment of his arrival is not the time. Let him talk first. Remember, his topics of conversation are more important than yours. Oh my God, I'm getting chills. Don't greet him with complaints and problems. Don't complain if he's late for home for dinner. Even if he stays out all night, count this as a minor compared to what he may have gone through that day. Arrange his pillow and offer to take off his shoes. Speak in low, soothing, and a pleasant voice. Oh my God. Okay, we get the point. How's everybody doing with those? Blech. The ribbon. Put a ribbon in your hair. Okay, so the reason I share these, Jermaine, I'm going to put the link here. You have to see the pictures. It's so undeniably gross. Okay, so the 1955 rules of being a good wife are so horrible, but for many of our mothers, maybe they, tuned into that, maybe they didn't, but we were raised on that energy, right? So maybe your parents were just like, they muscled through it, but I didn't see intimacy growing up. I mean, I don't know if I did. I don't think I did. But the reason I share this is we were never taught to have vulnerability. Oh, you can see the pictures. Hey, Dawn, welcome. So imagine, yeah, his issues are more important than ours. Like all that shit is so intense to read. I love your monster, Claudine. So how does it feel even listening to these things? Like it's the bath part, but you do it for you. It's beautiful. I mean, we could probably use these rules, this like suggested ways of being a wife for ourselves. Like, I love speaking in hushed tones. It feels really lovely to speak so breathy and nice. But what if we did that for ourselves? Yeah, I love that, Anna. This is guiding women back then to be slaves, basically. But that kind of programming is in our bodies, whether we watched shit on TV or we saw our parents do it, or you watch Leave It to Beaver, or if you're not, your age was Wonder Years or any of those TV shows, we've been trained to be sort of like timid. So yesterday I shared that when I was working in a strip club and I was a preschool teacher, I saw that men and children gave themselves total permission to play. And as women, we're always like, well, can't ask for money. I'm too fat. I'm too hairy. I've already had menopause. Like, I don't know. You know, we have all these things. So my thing that I see most with so many women is we do not speak in a way that's like, I want this, no to that. Some women do. Yay, Remy, welcome. Okay. Oh my goodness. Thank you for sharing this, Diana. Diana shares her mother followed these rules minus the ribbon. It's incredible that we have all on some level, you have to look at these pictures, like arrange his pillow. Don't ask him questions. Okay, there's one more I'm going to read. Number 17, don't ask him questions about his actions or question his judgment of integrity. Remember, he is the master of the house, and as such, will always exercise his will with fairness and truthfulness. You have no right to question him. Okay, so 1955 was not that long ago. Goddess Remy, I'm so glad you're up in the house here. So thinking about our fears, the truth is sometimes they're kind of tied into that shit. Like I speak to so many women about the way they're dating, about even the way they are in their businesses, where there's a certain timidness about saying something, whether it's a yes or a no, I need this. Like there's a lot of problems around women delegating, answering questions directly. Like when I speak to women who are interested in working with me, yay, Marissa, I'm welcome, you're here. There's a real epidemic of women who have a hard time telling me no. Now, when I speak to somebody about joining a program with me or, you know, coming to a workshop or something, there's going to be money conversation. And 1955, women were not discussing money. They were speaking in hushed fucking tones. They weren't even working. Or maybe they were working as secretaries or teachers, but it was really rare. So the fact that we have a hard time, and I say we as a collective, saying yes or saying no, and the no without an explanation or a justification lets us know that we're still a little bit stuck in those areas. So Jermaine shares, I sometimes fall into this predicament. Oh no, he's so stressed out. Forget about how I feel. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, and Anna shares, my husband behaves and treats me as if we live in the 50s. And I've been battling that. Great. Thank you. Yeah, these things are very real right now. Like in my house, my parents, my dad's kind of a bully and my mom just like allows it. She's just fucking used to it. So we're not that far removed. I mean, we can make fun of 1955, but the truth is some of it still really fucking exists. Ugh. So fuck your love fears is like, let's be aware that that is in our conditioning. So many goddesses who are doing massive self-development work get on our call. They're already clients and they're like, well, I've written out a bunch of my things I want to say to this guy, but I want to make sure we're together in person, like creating some perfect scenario before they're able to speak up. Speak in hushed tones. Let him speak first. We're still doing that. And it fucking sucks. And here's the thing. Fucking your fears is a really great way to start to break through that patterning. So does anybody else want to share any of these rules or ways of being a good housewife that we're still kind of fucked? Let's see. I'll share if any of them come up for me. Don't complain. That's a big one. So I'm not really a big fan of complaining anyway, but if a man does something wrong, my way is learning a lesson. So I'll share this story about me, and then I have a couple of client stories I'd love to share too. So I have a lover who I don't even want to call a lover anymore. He's like a past lover. And the first time we had sex, the next day, he didn't call, he didn't text, he didn't nothing. And I was fucking pissed. And a couple days passed. I had reached out. I sent a funny picture thinking like, oh, it's fine. I rationalized it. And then when we finally saw each other, I thanked him for the lesson to realize it wasn't personal. So I allowed his non-responsibility of not even just being a man, but being a good friend. Like I had texted him and he didn't write back. This was a bunch of years ago. This is sort of like what led up to me doing even more deep intimacy work, because I was like, that is not cool. So I basically ended up being like, thank you so much actually for not writing me, because I got to realize that you're not for me, and that, oh, what was my gratitude? It was so genius. Oh, that it wasn't personal, that I realized he's fucked up on his own free will, and that it wasn't like being mean to me. He was just fucked up for himself. So I thanked him. What a wise goddess way to use manipulation of my own mind to let go of the fact that he didn't own that we had sex. Like, that was so stupid. And I don't call myself stupid for it, but I realized like, oh, the mechanisms of learning a lesson is something that I can use to block my feelings of being pissed. Okay, so Anna says, I've been narrating all these issues with my daughter and son to let them know it's not right, but he derides my teaching them these issues. Yeah, actions matter. Actions matter. And do you get mad at him, Anna, out loud? Here's the thing, we're all not perfect, right? So me coming up with a complaint felt like, I know he gets overwhelmed. This is my lover story. I know he gets overwhelmed easily, so I'm not going to be mad at him. I don't want to be crazy. Fuck that. And so owning our emotions, guess what? There's no perfect timing, and it's fucking messy. Vulnerability is messy. I worked with this goddess. She was beautiful. Like super fucking model, great body, whatever that means to you. To me, she had a great body. And she owned acres of land, and she was a farmer of sorts. She cared about organic vegetables. Just to give you a little bit of her backstory. Yay, Ronnie, what's up? So I'm working with her. She's in this relationship with a younger man. I think she was like 42. He was like 35, 32, something like that. She came to me with her notebook. She showed me. She's like, I've written out the points of everything that I'm not happy with. And I'm going to tell him that we're going to have a meeting, and I'm going to tell him all these things. So I played along for a little bit, and I was like, when is this going to happen? She's like, well, so his family is like Thanksgiving, and then it's going to be the one day before, and then we're going to see his family. Like, she had this whole documented plan, agenda of when it was going to be the perfect moment to share this shit with him. So over some time in the phone call, I gave her the suggestion that what if she did it right now? What if she called him on the phone, on video, and gave him this list? She went into it. Now, I did an extreme ask of her, like, can you do this right now on the phone? No, she literally lost her breath. So the idea of creating a perfect scenario so you can share your feelings is the same fucking shit as 1955. Try to make sure your home is a place of peace, order, and tranquility where your husband can renew himself in body and spirit. So waiting for the man to be ready doesn't fucking work. The feminine energy is that of chaos, right? Now, hyper feminine means crazy, chaos, emotional all the time. I'm talking about normal, typical feminine energy has feelings. And guess what? It's never the right time. If you think about nature, right? Sometimes it snows on the wrong fucking day. Now, of course, we have all climate change and all that shit. But think about birth. And let me know if you're agreeing with what I'm saying. Give me some hearts or some emojis, some thumbs up shits. And what I'm talking about here is really that even though this 1955 shit sucks, we've come some way, but most goddesses I know are doing goddess work. But if we're not using the work in partnership, then when you're in a partnership, your old shit comes right back to the surface. So when we're vulnerable, it takes fucking courage, more courage than probably anything else, right? Because the fear of being a loser, being rejected, everything that we talked about yesterday, being like crazy, that's kind of my fear. It's like someone's going to think I'm crazy. Oh, you're reading it. Great. Great. Yay. Welcome, Annabelle. So all of the things, and actually it's so good to know these rules that came up in 1955. Like the pictures are so gross. This is how you act like a lady. Like, go fuck yourself. And I think that's part of the reason why I even titled, the courses I teach with curses. It's like, you know what? Anything's fucking allowed. Go fuck yourself. That's how I feel about things. But the fact that now we all have so much freedom to declare who we are and how we show up on this earth and what we say and how we show up and all these things, it's amazing. And yet so much of our culture is still 1955 good housewife rules. And so I have really basically cleaned up. Yeah, look at these rules. They're so whack. Let's see. I don't even think they call them rules because that would be too suggestive. Oh, it's even worse than rules. It is 1955 good. Here, I'll post the title. Good Wife's Guide explains how wives should treat their husbands. I'm like, let's all just do what the fuck we want. But be aware, oh, it doesn't open? But be aware that this is in somebody in our lives, whether it's a mother, an aunt, a sister, somebody who's a boss, is in their bodies is the 1955 Good Housekeeping, How to Be a Good Wife. Like, go fuck yourself. And actually, I'm working on an art project to take pictures. Yay, Lori, welcome, of what it would look like. Because the truth is, if we haven't come far, if we haven't come that far from this guide, then what do we need to do as human beings on this planet to have more self-expression, to be more honest with our feelings, even if they make other people uncomfortable? So what I want what the affirmation is tonight is, I am comfortable making others uncomfortable. Make sure I spell shit right. So that's our affirmation. And the truth is, it's not going to be easy. But if you do it alone, it will feel shitty. So I just pinned the affirmation. I am comfortable making others uncomfortable. That means you're able to speak your truth in any moment. The idea that we have to take care of others, it's our responsibility. Like for mothers, it could be you're responsible for your children. And Jermaine and I mean, whether it's your kid's teacher or somebody in charge, which is often like some kind of punishment model, when you say what you want, when you speak your truth, it actually impacts other people. And, I'm hyper aware of behavior. So if I see somebody sort of like wrinkling their face or crossing their arms, or if someone doesn't like something I've posted on social media, the part of me that wants to avoid controversy, or not controversy, but avoid conflict, is like, But the truth is, if you don't make moves in your life, moves are going to happen to you. So you can either take charge, or you can let other people's shit just come smacking you in the face. So where do you hide from intimacy? Great. So Anna shares, I am easy with not agreeing with people. I'm comfortable with not people pleasing. Great. Great. So this is something I want to ask, and it's my planned idea of being the challenge. Where right now are you withholding a full truth? So you could share, so it would be really healthy and healing if you wanted to share the truth here. Or who are you withholding the most truth from? For me, it's my brother. It's like bullshit already how much I'm withholding, because I'm afraid he won't let me. Yeah, I'm just afraid. Ooh. So where are you withholding a full truth? Because as women, we're so good. As human beings, we're so good at speaking like some truth, but not the whole thing. Some truth. So I'm disappointed, but really inside you're like, I'm fucking pissed. So when you only share a little part of a truth, it's actually denying a part of yourself. And it's keeping that fear mechanism, that coping mechanism intact. So where are you, or who are you withholding a truth from? Anybody want to answer? Okay, Fatima, thank you for showing up on the scene. I didn't even say hello to you yet, and you come out with a big truth. I withhold the most truth from my dad. Sister, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I think we might see a pattern. I want to believe that, though, because it's so intrinsically a social order with others. Say more about that, Anna. Yeah. Oh, the people-pleasing thing. Yeah. So where else? Joanna, great. I'm withholding my frustration and anger at work. Ooh, Claudine says with several people. So first of all, take a breath. Like, it's never easy to share where you're withholding, because if you actually have the visual, you know who's coming out. The ninja. If you're withholding from people, actually, I don't want to use the visual. It's pretty hard. If you're withholding from sharing a full truth, you know it's sitting here. It's sitting here. It's sitting here. It's sitting here. It's sitting in your wrinkles. Yay, Fatima, I'm glad you're here. Okay, so Jermaine says in the yoga world with some coworkers. So yes, the ninja. This ninja, he fucking gets rid of fears like this. Wah! And I really carry this with me. Because when we have fears, it's a disservice to ourselves. And here's where I want to point something out that's so cool. So I have a client, and she was experiencing jealousy. Anybody here experience jealousy? Okay, Ronnie shares. Ronnie is our most experienced relationship goddess, because she's in a marriage, I think you said, for 42 years. My husband knows all my truths. He's my venting vehicle. Need to calm myself in a work-related situation because we're all volunteers. Oh, that's the best place because everybody feels like they're a do-gooder. So it's really hard to speak your truth because, like, why would you be the drama queen? But it's so crucial that we speak to people, and it's great to break down the crunchy parts so that when you speak to somebody, it comes out with care. Because here's what I know about speaking the truth, the whole truth. Underneath the parts that feel shitty or bad or confronting is love. Ronnie, 45 years in a relationship. Okay. My fears are all based on very innocent, young behavior that I've made mean something. So let me give you an example. So I have this client who's extremely jealous, and she is trying to play cool. And so she's not letting her partner, he's a new-ish partner. He's like 3 months. They're together 3 months. And her jealousy is really making her uncomfortable, and she doesn't know what to do. Now, I've experienced 2 places where jealousy comes up and it's worked with. So one is in the BDSM world or the fetish world, where you actually play with your jealousy and it feels crazy, but jealousy, welcome Heather, but jealousy can be played with because it's an energy. So that's not what I suggested to my client. But what I did suggest was, and I asked her a bunch of questions, was like, we were talking about her fears and what causes jealousy. And she's gorgeous. Not that that matters, but for her, she's embarrassed that she's jealous because she's so beautiful. And she's always gotten feedback, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful. So the fact that she's jealous now has shame layered on top of it. So she's jealous, she's feeling insecure, and now she has shame about those things. So she's just mortified. And so after several weeks, I think it was almost actually 2 months of a 6-month program, she spoke to this man. Now, they're already dating 4 months. She's never told him she's jealous. And actually, the questions I asked her were, what's creating jealousy? And there were a couple of things that would like make anybody jealous. Like he was friends with ex-lovers. They would come over and they would trade massages, like things that were like, you're not crazy. That would make me a little bit uneasy too. I am a jealous person, but that was like, okay, maybe you should have a discussion. So we opened up the door. She opened up the door of like, and this is how she entered. I really love you and I really want to be with you. And there's some things I want to discuss that make me really uneasy. And I have a fear that you'll think I'm stupid. Because when we discussed what her fears were, we kind of like unraveled, and she didn't want to look stupid. Now, this is a grown woman. She's gorgeous. She has all these things going for her. But the thing that was driving her was she didn't want to feel stupid. So my question to you is, whatever fear, whatever you're not speaking in its entirety, what's under that? Like, are you afraid of, I'll give you some fears that it might be, or you might already know, and I'll share mine. So the fear of me not sharing the fullness with my brother is that I'm going to be too much, and he's going to think I'm an idiot, and he's going to think that I'm overly emotional, and he's going to stop letting me see my nephew. That's what my fears equal to. So what underneath, and maybe you know, maybe you don't know. If you don't know, put a question mark, because that's great to even announce too. It's so powerful to say, I don't know. So really honoring yourself for speaking the I don't know. Oh, yeah. Anybody? What's happening? I'm writing down a note for myself because I just had an idea. Okay, so I'll keep going. But if anybody has any questions or shares, please go ahead. So the fears underneath why we won't speak our full truth. I'm not going to, by the way, the challenge is not to speak to that person. I wouldn't do that. We might do that if you were in the course, where we have more one-on-one interaction, where we could see each other. But right here, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus like that. But my question is there something, and this is going to lead into the challenge, that you don't want to even deal with yourself? Like what are you afraid to even admit to yourselves, if you have one? Okay, Claudine says, for me, it's childhood trauma. And if I told certain people, mainly my mother, it might actually kill her. Whoa. Okay, thank you for opening up about that. Thank you. Anna, I do withhold at work. I've invested my emotions. I'm the only female worker in my department. I've allowed myself to act the fool, to be a comedian just to ease the initial discomfort because of my age and because I'm not skin color. I do realize I project my insecurities and think it does get in the way. Great. 2 really big shares. Anna, also, thank you. Yeah. Okay. I'm so loving. Thank you so much for bringing it, all of you. It's fucking fierce. Fatima shares, I share that my dad won't like who I have become because he's religious and I'm more free-spirited and spiritual. Beautiful. Okay, great. Thank you, Fatima. I can relate to that because, I'm out there dancing burlesque, doing my thing. Okay, yeah, many of us had. Great. Thank you, Claudine, for receiving that from Ronnie. I get very protective when people share shit. Okay. So also just to remember, we don't, and not that anybody has, but we don't give advice. Make sure. I'm the advice police. So in some instances, it doesn't feel powerful or empowering to share with the person. But, and this is not part of the challenge, but something that I've done. Okay, Jermaine shares, all my fears these days are related to my son. Am I a good mom? Great fear to share. I forgot the word, but you get what I mean. We all need, there's a bad rap when it comes to validation. I'm biased. That's what I was going to say. There's a thing that's like, oh, you shouldn't want it. You shouldn't need outside validation. But what I want to say is, it's okay to have feelings. It's valid. And it's also valid to be discerning. Like some people can't handle the truth, but it's really not for us to not deliver the truth. It's for us to choose where and when we deliver the truth. And so, like, let's say if it's your mom, if it's your dad, if it's something that could have like a big fallout and you don't really know if they have the muscle to deal with that or if you have the energy to deal with that, something that has really been powerful for me, and I'm just going to share this, you don't have to do it, is to use psychodrama. So in terms of improv acting or writing letters. So it's just to move the energy. And sometimes it's just for us to release the attachment of what we think might happen. Because we don't know, actually. And just to follow up on the story that I shared, the client that I worked with, she spent 4 months, 2 months dating the guy, 2 months like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to share my jealousy. And then when she finally did, the man was so receptive. He was like shocked that she hadn't said anything prior. And she ended up crying and being a fucking mess and being like, I didn't want to share. I was really embarrassed. And he ended up revealing his major insecurity. And this was another handsome, beautiful, attractive, shallow description, really good looking. And they bonded over the fact that they were both insecure and both really jealous. And the reason I share that is, and again, not to say you have to go speak to whoever, but to keep your mind open, right? It's like in our chart, the awareness piece that it might not go the way you think it is. The other person might be like, oh my God, I'm so glad you've shared this with me. I'm going to bust out our charts again. So the ego mind thinks it's going to happen a certain way. But the true self says, hey, actually, I'm aware that it could be a little bit different. Several times, I'll tell you my own experience. I was in a relationship for a year, and talk about having the perfect timing. As I was dating this man, his mother unfortunately got brain cancer. And not to say that I made that happen, but I chose the perfect situation to make myself less important. I'm like, his mother has brain cancer. Who am I to fucking share anything? And also opening the floor for anyone else who wants to share. Who am I to share any feelings? I am dating him and his mother has brain cancer. We stayed together. And one day I just was like, what the fuck am I doing dating this man? He has no time for me. And of course I was doing my self-development work. So I came back. I was living over there. So this could have been 4 years ago, 4 years ago. And I was feeling left out. I was feeling ignored. I was feeling stupid and childish and needy and gross and insecure and all the things. And he happened to be a really attractive man. So I wanted him to like me. I wanted to stay with him. I wanted my friends to meet him. And I wanted his mother to get better. And one day he said, oh, I want you to meet my mom. And I was like, oh, this is so exciting. Anyway, we're on the phone one night. And for some reason, I got it in my head, you have to say something fucking right now. And as soon as I had that thought, I just even felt it now. My heart dropped, came back up, and I started trembling and shaking. I've told this story before. And I said to him, I need to know if you have any room in your heart for me. And then I started freaking the fuck out. My whole body was freaking out. I was shaking like, when you get that kind of shakes, like you can't stop chattering. And then he said, what? I don't even remember his fucking answer, to be honest. He's just like, are you okay? Because I was literally shaking. We were on the phone. And I said, no, I feel really fucking crazy. I feel like a child. I feel really like you don't need this. And he's like, wow, how long have you been holding this in? And my answer was, my whole life. I'd never been vulnerable with a man before this. Exactly, Anna. But it made perfect sense. His mother had brain cancer. Of course I'm going to put myself in the back seat. Perfectly, geniusly fucked myself. And it was great. That moment, he said to me, and I said, I feel crazy. My spine is shaking. I can't even cry. I just feel cold, freezing. I'm layered in blankets and I can't stop shaking. And he said, Shane, I'm so relaxed right now. And it feels so good to hear you say this. I was like, what? I had no idea. I couldn't find joy. I just allowed myself to keep shaking and freaking out. He's like, I'm so glad to hear this. How long have you been feeling this way? And I said, forever. I've never shared this with anybody. And I think that might have been our last call until I shared my feelings. And here's what I know. And this, again, doesn't matter if you're dating a woman or if you're dating a man. The emotional person is the feminine energy. Welcome, goddesses. And so if you're in a situation where you're feeling like your emotions are too much for the other person, it feels crazy. Your whole body, like when I was studying behavior, when I was taking my master's degree, and then I was watching little kids, I was like, oh shit, I can see behavior before the patterns, before we're women, before we're, whoever adults. I can see how children are afraid or how they do it anyway. And so when you have a truth that needs to be spoken, it feels like the craziest shit on earth. And actually, your root chakra, your sphincter muscle, might be tight because it's about survival. You feel in your body, not your mind, but your body feels like fight or flight. What's the other one? Fight, flight, or something. So that is the moment to really discern, am I safe enough? Not physically safe, but am I emotionally safe enough to share my truth? And that's really what coaching is about. That's what mentorship is about. It's about opening your life to someone else who is not emotionally attached to you. Because in life, it's so hard to speak the truth with loved ones, especially if it's family and they know you forever and it could really hurt their feelings or it could really fuck them up. But when you work with a coach or you work with a mentor, it's the playground. It's like, you come to my burlesque class. It's the playground to be vulnerable. That's why Fuck Your Fears, part of it is burlesque or performing. Because it's permission to be like, can I try? Can I say, can I do something new where I might fuck up? Oh, freeze. Yes. And that's how our bodies are trained to deal with trauma. And that's why when I'm on the phone with somebody and they don't know how to answer my question, it's easier to say, can I call you back another time? Because it's scary. Our bodies freak out. But if it's a safe situation, right? It's not like a physically violent situation, and it's our emotions or our fears, then there is a certain permission that you can train your body to have that allows yourself to be taken by the hand and moved forward. Does that make sense? Here's my little ninja coming in to check on everybody. Okay, so let me know what you think about all that. What you think about fight, flight, or freeze, and your mechanism that will be a coping mechanism or the vulnerability to slowly open that up, and how you can use that in your life. Let me know what you, any questions and this is also really dense and it's speaking directly to the shadow parts of you. So if you feel confused or like, what the fuck is Shane talking about? Then just know that there's a transmission, that you're receiving it into your body. And if you have no idea, it's perfectly okay. But that it's a shadow and it's a place to learn. It's a place where there's lessons. I'm going to make sure I still see you all. Okay. And I bet, oh, I thought we got disconnected. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to now share. I'm going to ask you all, and any shares you want to post, please do. There might be a time lapse. How was your day one challenge? How was your day one challenge? I know that Anna and Rebecca wrote in. I'm going to double check if anybody did it last minute. With your love and fear letters. How did that go? I want to see if anybody wrote or shared. You could share your insight, or you could share the letter itself. So let's see what everybody did. I'll look, but if you want to just share, it'd be awesome. I know I have all the burlesque pictures, so it could have fallen somewhere below. Okay, here we go. So Anna and Rebecca both showed the fuck up and shared their letters in the comments. So how did it go for everybody? So Fatima says, I am such a runner. I flight whenever I feel like I'm losing control. Can you suggest some coping mechanisms? Yes, I can. Thank you. I will do that, Fatima. Thank you for asking. Yay, Jennifer Sunshine. Ronnie shares, I was very inhibited and introverted growing up. Through primal scream therapy, I love that shit, in the 70s, I learned that asthma was holding an emotion. I learned to vent a lot. Cool. Okay, Jermaine shares, slowing down my breath always helps so much in these situations of fight or flight. Okay, Anna shares, replying to Claudine, I'm learning to tap into the fight as I've ran it to avoid conflict. I've operated from flight and freeze. I wrote both. Oh, good. Great, Claudine. I'm glad. Well, I missed that day. Busy working day. Okay, great. You could do it tonight. You can catch up whenever you wish. Okay, so I want to come back to Fatima. Such a runner. I flight whenever I feel like I'm losing control. Great. So the best coping mechanism, and this is so powerful and so fucking brave, and it also comes back to truth heals fear. Whenever you want to run. So my question to you is, do you know you want to run? And orgone therapy. I don't know what that is, Ronnie. And Anna shares, it was freeing. I wish I had the free flow to do the Fuck Your Fears challenge, but one step at a time. Great. You got it. You're doing it, sister. So the best advice I have, and it's a coping mechanism I love, you don't have to share the truth itself, but sharing in the moment, wow, I feel like running away from this, is extremely powerful. So let's say you're in the dialogue and you're the ninja and this person's like, yammer, 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 and you have something you want to say and it's bubbling up, and all you want to do is run. Most of the time you do. Okay. If you notice in your body, oh, fuck, I want to get out of here. I'm done. Maybe you're even on the phone. You can say to the person, can I share truth with you right now? And what that does is it calms your own body. It's like, oh, something's going to come out. And you don't have to actually share what you're fearing. But just saying, can I share a truth right now? Person says yes. And then you say, this is a typical moment of when I would want to run away. You're done. That's it. You don't have to say anything else. And by you sharing that vulnerability, then you become human. And that other person is like, oh, fuck, human. And it just becomes very like compassion based. So let me know if you can picture that happening for yourself. And then I'll give you your challenge, your second challenge. Today's Tuesday. Oh, tomorrow night's going to be fun. Let me know, Fatima, if you can picture that happening. Okay. Okay, day 2. Here is your challenge. Are you ready to receive it, goddesses? So if you feel ready to receive your challenge, type yes in the box. And I also want to give a big up and a big shout out to the amazing enchantresses that are watching the replay and doing the work. Peggy, fucking rock star. Rebecca, rock star. let's see, who else did some, oh, who else? Who else? I can't remember right now. Bonita, showing the fuck up, doing the work on the replay. So good. So proud of you. I see you. So type a yes if you're ready. Yes, yes, yes. All right. This challenge is going to be so cute and so fun. And are you ready? So you're going to go to Canva, canva.com. It's free. And you're going to create a picture. And you're going to fill the fucking picture up. First, you're going to put a photo of yourself. A big photo. It could be a selfie or a picture you like of yourself. And you're going to, I don't want to make it so technical, but you're going to make it transparent. You're going to see a picture. So you kind of see yourself, but you don't. And on top of it, you're going to write what works about you. You're going to fill the page with compliments about yourself. I guess I could have made one to show you, but it's going to look like this. So you're going to put I'll draw it. Maybe if you have any questions, ask me. Okay, here's me. And then this is going to be in the background. And then over it, I'm going to type in compliments about myself. So tomorrow, the group should be flooded with pictures of you. And on top of the pictures, you write the words loyal, beautiful, amazing, fabulous, generous, big heart, loving, kind, great hair, great dimple, I don't know, good taste, all those things. Who is ready to take that challenge on? You could do PhotoFox. Yes, any program you know. I just know Canva. But yeah, PhotoFox, Canva, any of those. So it's going to be a picture of yourself. You're going to make it faded so that you can read the words. And on top of your picture, you write all the fucking amazing things about yourself. I would say keep it to like 1 or 2 words, so it's not big sentences. But the question is, what works about you or what works about me? And you're going to put all those words on the picture. Any questions? And fill it the fuck up. Fill the whole page up. And if you don't know, ask people. What is the reason for this? What is the reason for this? Can somebody answer? What do you think is the reason for this? I'll share my answer in a minute. Anna, will you tell me, what do you think is the reason for this? My sense in you asking that question is like, something. I'm getting a feeling from you. So I'm curious, why do you think we're doing this? I love a challenge. Bring it. Yes, to reinforce your positives for sure. For me, it's to increase your self-worth, to realize, yes, to show how amazing you are. Because the reason we don't speak whole truths is because we are afraid we're going to hurt people. And the absolute truth is, every beautiful, amazing human being in this coven and everywhere that I'm connected to has the biggest heart and does not have a mean bone in your body. That all of your fears, all of my fears, all of our fears collectively have nothing to do with our truest, most powerful, most generous self, that we all come from the heart. And when we withhold truth or we don't say everything or we think we're going to hurt somebody, it's actually hurting ourselves. And so to blow up and show off how amazing we are, how fucking amazing we are, thank you, Claudine, it is a constant reminder that every situation that we're in, if we came back to self-love, would be the solution. Period. And we get stuck in, no, it's okay. I love it. We get stuck in taking care of others because it is a feminine energy trait to be caregivers, to be nurturers. And we take that shit on and we take our own love away from ourselves. Yes. I love Anna's answer. Anna, you're such a wordsmith. To emulate the highest traits of ourselves. I love it. Actually, it's interesting. You remind me of a friend I have or had named Scott. He's always asking these questions and I see them as challenging. And he's like, no, I'm just asking. So there's a part of me that's like, give me a challenge. So that's what we're going to do. And the challenge is to fucking share it. Like, do it right now. Take 10, 15 minutes. And if you don't know more compliments about yourself, either choose bigger font or, yay, Peggy, I just shouted you out. Choose bigger font or ask people, hey, what works about me? Ask your friend. Reach out to an ex-boyfriend. Reach out to an ex-girlfriend. Reach out to your ninja self. Get really real. Don't be shy about what works about you. If you think you have pretty eyes, write that shit down. If you think you have pretty hair, write it down. If you know you're fucking loyal, write it down. So this is a project. Do it quick. Don't take a long time. Post them in the Awkward Enchanted Coven. Big fucking points if you're the first one to do it. I'm going to do it too. And really allow yourself to play. Allow yourself to give yourself compliments. Are there any questions? Okay. Excellent. Well, I'm going to close us up by thanking the gods, goddesses, angels, light beings, anyone who joined us on this earth plane and beyond. We are here to surrender our fear of intimacy by once we learn, I want to add this too, Anna, so I'm glad you asked. Once we can recognize the amazing things in ourselves, guess what? You then are able to see the reflection in others. So bringing more love, focusing on what works is such, I could talk about that for days. Focusing on what works, focusing on what works, focusing on what works. Take that shit to the bank, to the love bank. First of all, love bank is a fucking great visual. What works? That is the peace thing. Also, Fatima, is that, who asked me that before? I think it was you. Yeah, Fatima, focus on what works. Focus on what works. Focus on what works. Yeah, I just really want to thank everybody. There are so many things you could have been doing tonight. And I'm super grateful for all of you for showing up so powerfully, for showing up so vulnerably. That is what you've all done tonight. And for everyone watching on the replay, please amazingly feel free to comment on the comments. And if you're just a voyeur, send in your loving energy. Maybe you just like a post or you love it, but really honoring the sisters that are sharing and don't just take it for entertainment value. Stay with the challenge. Committing to something will move things in your life. Committing to love makes it a priority. When you make something a priority, you get love back. So I am grateful you all showed up. Have a beautiful evening. Talk to you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye.